Okay. Today we're here for the Planning Commission meeting, Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. Can we get roll call, please?
Commissioner Uciano,
Here.
Commissioner Fajardo,
Present.
Commissioner Jackie Lopez, Vice Chairperson Gloria Franz,
Present.
Chairperson Rodriguez Ceja,
Present.
and Jackie Lopez is absent.
Please join Vice Chair Franz in the pledge. All right, we're moving on to public comments for items not on the agenda. Do we have any?
There are none.
Thank you. Moving on to our approval of minutes for May 24th and June 14th. Can I?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes of the meeting on May 24th, 2023.
I'll go ahead and second that.
Are we doing roll call or are we doing on the screen?
On the screen.
Great, thank you.
Here we go.
Motion carries 3-1.
Sorry, what's the abstention protocol?
It would be 0, is to abstain.
I was not here for that meeting, for the record. For the minutes of June 14th?
I'll make a motion to approve Planning Commission meeting minutes of June 14, 2023.
I'll second.
Motion carries 3-1.
Great. Moving on to our public hearing items. 5.1, Resolution 2062. Can we get a staff report, please?
Yes, good evening. For the record, Kevin Snyder, Director of Community Development. And this evening, the public hearing item that you have before you is a proposed expansion of the I-10 Toyota used car dealership in the area commonly referred to as the Auto Mall area. So the commission is very used to having new businesses come before you. It's not often that we have existing businesses that come for the commission, and this is one of those instances where you have an existing business who has been successful and is looking to expand their business operation in the city. And so this particular request before you this evening is, again, for the I-10 used car dealership. To give you context, quickly, this is a request to expand approximately 7,500 square foot building to about 28,000 square feet. That would increase both the showroom area and the service area. There will be about 54 on-site parking spaces, existing landscaping, and that's pretty much it. The applicant is CNC Motors, which is also I-10 I-10 used car, why can't I say this? Used car dealership. I say that 10 times fast. The zoning for the property is regional commercial, as well as the general plan. So this is a compliant site for this type of use. Again, it's in an area that is dominated by auto-oriented uses in terms of vehicle sales, both used and new, and service. You may be familiar with it if you've driven up there. This is at the northeast corner of 50s Way and Varner Road. It's opposite the new Kia dealership that the Planning Commission approved approximately a year and a half ago and that has been constructed, and I think some of you might have frequented it. This is the site and surrounding properties. Again, the existing site. In many ways, what you're going to see when we get into the design is kind of the update of the building to kind of the Toyota branding design. So you have kind of an older branding design. This is going to be an update and an expansion, which will very much look like what you see at the current Toyota dealership that is east of this site. So again, you have the Kia dealership to the west, you have the Buick GMC dealership to the immediate east. North, you have Avenue 40. North of that, you have the Sun City Palm Desert area that is the adjacent to the property line. There is a stormwater facility, so the houses are pretty set back pretty far. And then to the north of the property, you have Interstate 10. So this is the site plan. Again, it's a fairly large site, 3.36 acres, and with a 7,500 square foot building. Fairly small portion of that building today, however, at 28,000 square feet, you're going to see increased showroom area and enhanced number of service bays. You're going to go from 4 to 14, for example. So just more on-site uses accommodating both volume of activity and continued use and enjoyment of the property by the patrons of the property. So as I mentioned before, this is the current Toyota branding. If you have been by or at the current Toyota dealership, the new car dealership to the east of this, it's very similar in look and style. This is the Toyota brand. So the building will be reconstructed and expanded. So you will see this very kind of what I will call typical Toyota branding colors. This is the digital materials board. These are the color schemes that you will see on the boarding on the building. Again, you're looking at very typical color schemes. These are two renderings of the property. This gives you kind of that overall context of the metal cladding, actually a fair amount of glazing into the site. And then obviously there'll be future signage added to the building, but very much keeping in style with that corporate logo and branding. So we did our analysis of this project. It was found to be compliant with the general plan and particular certain land use policies this project supports. It also supports the retail development of the city. This is a used car dealership and service. So there will be both car sales and servicing going on there. So it is an opportunity to continue to expand the city's retail base. It is compliant with the city's Unified Development Code, which was put into effect on October 22nd, 2022. Again, regional commercial zoning allows for this type of use, and it complies with or can be made to comply with the development standards for that zoning, and also it complies with or can be made to comply with the discretionary planning review criterion that criteria that we are obligated to review it under. We did a CEQA analysis. It qualifies for a Class 32 infill exemption, which basically means it's under 5 acres. It does not cause significant impact on the environment. The property was already analyzed under the general plan environmental impact report for this type of use, and it's not excessive or beyond a reasonable level of impact. So therefore, staff believes that it qualifies for a Class 32. So with application of conditions of approval, staff does believe that the project can be approved, and those conditions of approval are binding and must be adhered to. So with that, staff is recommending that you approve resolution number 2602, approving the used car dealership project, and also finding that it is categorically exempt from CEQA under the Class 32 infill exemption. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. The applicant's representative, Michael Cummings, is available virtually this evening to speak to you, but happy to answer any questions before you open the public hearing if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Any questions for staff? No? I just have a quick question. Was there a landscape plan in the packet?
So the landscaping is shown on the site plan. They're not impacting the landscape. It's all existing landscaping. They have a large enough site that they did not expand the landscaping area. There is a slight amount of landscaping, and you'll see it in the staff report, that they will need to add. They're about 810 square feet short of what the development standards under the Unified Development Code. So they'll be adding that, so they'll have to do a final landscape plan and submit that to us. But it's a very small addition. Otherwise, it's existing landscaping that already exists at the property.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because I'm reading the minimum 10% lot area of 14,000.
And they're at 19.4%, so they have a very small amount that they need to add, and that is one of the conditions of approval.
Great. Thank you very much for clarifying that. All right. If there are no more questions for staff, then we'll go ahead and open the public hearing and allow the applicant to do their presentation.
All right, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Well, thank you very much for getting this on today. And yeah, I'll be brief. It's about time that we, ever since we saw the new Kia building go up, we kind of rushed this this process so that we're able to not have the oldest, ugliest building on the street anymore. And I think with the elevations that you all saw and the drawings, it's going to be a gorgeous building. It's only going to bring more traffic to our auto mall. We want to get through it pretty quickly. So anything and everything that we need to do, we'll do. Whatever y'all have for us won't be a problem. We think this will have a huge impact on our business and driving more people in. We're kind of locked right now as far as our main facility for servicing. And the only way to up those RO numbers are more facility, and we're locked up on our main building to add more. So this is our next plan. So we're over doubling the service side as far as stalls go. With the showroom, we're over doubling that. Lots of storage in there. And I think it'll be a great building. We did have issues with our architect, and that's why I am filling in, and she is not here. So this is my first hearing, and I'm not really sure what to do from here, but it looks like everything has gone well through the planning commission. And any questions, please ask.
Thank you, Mr. Cummings. I don't believe you said your name for the record, though. Did he?
Oh, this is Michael Cummings, General Manager of I-10 Toyota.
Thank you, Mr. Cummings. Yeah. Okay, well, are there any questions for Mr. Cummings?
Just quick question. I'm not sure if you mentioned, if I missed it, but do you have a estimated idea of staff increase at the new facility?
Staff increase, we'll have to add 5 more technicians and 1 or 2 more service advisors. It's going to be a slow ramp up. It's not going to be automatic to where all our customers know to go down to that building. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but with that increase in traffic through that side, we'll probably need to add 1 or 2 more service porters, a few more of our business development staff. We'll add 1 or 2 more on the service side. So I'd say about 10 employees to start.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No? All right, well, thank you so much. Do we have any comments for this item?
There are none.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Cummings. I think we can move on to deliberations. We'll close the public hearing.
Thank you all very much.
Any comments?
I'm really glad that they're not going to be the ugliest building on the auto mall. No, I think it's a great addition to what's already there. So I'm really happy that they jumped on this after the other dealerships have come in. So this is good.
Yeah, I just want to say same thing, just bringing that opportunity and an increased, I think, footprint for that dealership would provide not only the 10 job opportunities, but also just additional, sponsorship opportunities. I know you folks, particularly 910, have done quite a lot for our youth development programs out here in the city. Really appreciate those partnerships and look forward to those continuing. Thank you, Mr. Cummings.
Okay, great. I think my comment would just be for staff, maybe we could work for the remaining landscape as they're developing that. Maybe some drought-resistant shade trees would be great for us to consider with the applicant if they're open to it. So,
And they do have to comply with our current landscape standards that are on the Unified Development Code, so, which do promote drought-tolerant landscaping. So that additional area, we can certainly ask them to do that, and certainly encourage them to continue to look at that. And our India Water Authority does have both commercial and residential rebate programs if there is an interest in becoming more drought-tolerant, water-friendly.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Thank you. All right, well, I'll entertain a motion.
Go ahead and motion to approve Resolution 2062, granting conditional approval for the I-10 Toyota used car dealership expansion project, and also finding that the project is categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to Section 15332 of the CEQA guidelines.
I'll second.
All right, can we get roll call? Or, I'm sorry, we're voting.
Motion carries.
Okay, fantastic. Congratulations, Mr. Cummings. You did fantastic for your first meeting. We hope you come back soon.
Yeah, well, I would love to get more dealerships, so I'm happy to build more if we can get more stores down there on that street to fill up that Washington to Jefferson gap.
Thank you for your interest in India. Congratulations. All right. Well,
Thank you all very much, and thank you for all that you're doing to the city. It's been great to see the last few years since I've been out here.
Thank you. All right. No action items or study session items, so we'll move on to commissioner comments.
Actually, I need to do a correction. After we voted on the minutes, I remembered that I was not here for the May 24th meeting, so I need to change my vote to abstain, however that can be done.
So I think you can make a motion to reconsider and then re-vote, essentially, if the...
So.
Oh, will the motion not carry?
The motion will not carry.
Okay, so then I think the motion to reconsider would then be to move those minutes to the next agenda. Of course, if you have a majority, which I assume you will.
Was that a meeting with just myself, Commissioner Lopez, and Commissioner Fajardo?
Correct.
Yeah, so I think what we would do is you would just make a motion. Did you have a different? Okay, sorry. I think you just make a motion to reconsider that particular item that was on the consent calendar. Say just exactly what you just said. For the record, I didn't realize that it was a day that I was absent, and therefore I'll have to abstain. Due to the fact that there are 4 commissioners, we will need to move that item to the next planning commission agenda, which I don't have my calendar in front of me, but it's in 2 weeks. So yeah. So that's what you guys. That's how you correct the record. If we can't sustain a vote on the item for various reasons, that's what we'll do. And I don't believe we're outside of a timeline to approve them.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to reconsider item 4.1, the minutes from the Planning Commission of May 24th, 2023. I was not present, so I would need to abstain for that. And because we don't have enough commissioners for the vote, we're going to move the minutes to our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is July 26, 2023.
I'll second.
Great.
Motion does not carry, and they will be moved to the next planning commission meeting.
No, this
Sorry,
motion would.
The motion carries.
Sorry, the motion does carry.
Right, yeah, sorry.
Do we need to actually vote or?
Yeah, you'll need to vote.
Sorry, I just made a whole mess of this.
No, not at all. I just was going off the top of my head. So, you'll vote again on that motion, which is to reconsider the item and move the item to the next agenda where we will hopefully have enough people to carry a vote.
That's out now, we just need to vote.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I cannot reactivate it, so I'm going to do roll call. Commissioner Isiano,
Yes.
Commissioner Fajardo,
Yes?
Vice Chairperson Gloria Franz,
Yes.
Chairperson Rodriguez Ceja,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, and we'll move on to staff items.
Kendra Reeve, Principal Planner. Our next Planning Commission meeting will be July 26th, and it will start at 6:30 PM. It will not start at 6 PM. It's going to be moved to start at 6:30 PM due to a special city council meeting that is being held prior to our regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting. The items on the agenda for that Planning Commission meeting will be the Indio Gas Station Urban Plaza and Pulte Desert Retreat.
Great, thank you.
I'll
Anything?
just add a couple
Will
things.
we have a brief recess between those two? Or will they just kind of flow right in? Depends.
You can move to take a recess between the two items if there are extensive timelines. I believe, I haven't looked at the commission bylaws, or
I was
I don't
speaking
believe
more-
that there's any reason you wouldn't be able to do that, or?
No, I think,
could be wrong.
actually, I think the question was more about a break between, will there be time between the city council special meeting and the planning commission special meeting, is what you were asking, I
Oh,
think.
I apologize for misunderstanding. So I think what would be more appropriate is to have just to have a different start time that you announce now, in order to give the public as much notice as possible as to the time that the meeting will be held, particularly because it's not the typical time of 6 PM. So,
Sorry to jump in
Oh, no,
again.
that's
So
okay.
what we will do is, since your meetings normally start at 6 PM, we will advertise this as a special meeting starting at 6:30. So there'll be basically two special meetings that day, the city council special meeting because it's an abnormal meeting day for them. And then we will advertise your meeting as a special meeting because it'll have a later start time than that is normally prescribed. So what we can make, as Jillian has pointed out, we can make notation of it now for the public who are watching, but then we will go through the formal notification process, publication in the newspaper of record and things like that. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll go ahead.
all I was gonna say is, and if you guys need additional time, like if right at 6:30 is difficult, what you would do is you can begin the meeting and then move to have a short recess, right? Because it's noticed at 6:30 as opposed to starting later, you can come in, vote, like similar to what the city council does with closed session. And this is, of course, just in case we need that additional time. Or you can, depending on what information has gone out already about the time of the meeting to be held, we can indicate that it'll be held at a later time than 6:30. I believe that's what, and again, if I'm misunderstanding what you're asking, please let me know.
I was
think-
just wondering if, because normally 2 to 5 is working hours for me, if like I would have a brief recess in between to make phone calls.
And so the goal is, so the city council's meeting will be from 2 PM to 5:30 PM.
Perfect.
The expectation is that the commission meeting will start at 6:30 PM. That'll hopefully give you time to grab dinner, make some phone calls, whatever you need to do. And then if we don't have a quorum, and I think what Jillian was talking about is if we run into a situation where we're not ready to start at 6:30 for whatever reason, then we can always take action to address that. The reason why we're meeting a little bit later that day is that the city council will be holding its review of the cannabis business permit applications during that day, or that part of the day. So that's why we're moving the deck around a little bit, if you will. And also to give our team the opportunity to, and the time to set up and transition between the meetings from the city clerk setup of the meeting to the planning commission secretary's setup of the meeting. So that's another reason why we're starting later. So you should all have, I hope, adequate time. And so, any other questions about that? So I just wanted to pick up on a couple of additional things that Kendra had reported. So pretty much, as I mentioned at the last meeting, and will continue to mention, tonight was an aberration. You got an easy night, so to speak. The next couple of meetings are going to be much longer. We do expect that they could be potentially controversial. Desert Retreat, you may have more folks in attendance. The following month, we will have the Calhoun-specific plan, which again, we could be potentially controversial. So we're going to try to limit the agendas those evenings to 2 items. Kendra and I have talked about that. So each evening will only be 2 agenda items, knowing we have a fairly large item on each agenda, and then we do have 1 smaller project for each agenda. So we're not going to try to overload the agendas based on previous inputs from the commission to not overwhelm and not exhaust you. So we will do that, but we are doing extraordinary noticing for both of those large projects, just to make sure that the public is aware as much as they can be. And then the final thing is just to kind of share. So I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to continue to look at the city's online development dashboard. It is an area where you can find out about the various projects that have come in. Some have not made their way to you, some have. But we're at about 30 entitlement applications right now that are in various stages with us. And there's a good opportunity for you, or if you know of anyone that says, hey, what's going on over in X area of the city, if you direct them to that development dashboard, that's a great location for them to get information about a project and what's going on. And that for that project, where it's at in the process, and also for you as a commission to be aware as well. So with that, either of us are happy to answer any questions you might have, if there are any.
No, but thanks for bringing up about the dashboard. I use it all. I refer to it all the time. I don't always use it, but my partner thinks that I'm the expert of everything that's going on in Indio. So I usually will say, let's check out the dashboard so I can respond to your question. So thank you very much for that work.
And I want to give credit where credit's due. Nicholas Gutron, who's in attendance this evening, together with Tony Sturgill, who's our GIS analyst, they are responsible for managing that and updating it. And Nico does an amazing job of keeping that up to date so that you are the expert, at least in your own household, of all things development in the city.
Thank you so much. Thank you, team. All right, so we'll go ahead and adjourn if there's nothing else. We'll go ahead and adjourn to the next Planning Commission meeting, Wednesday, July 26th.